Welcome to Haunting Resonance. I am Veylin Noct, the voice that lingers between shadow and silence. Tonight's story is stitched together from whispers, sightings, and fragments pulled from scattered sources. If there are any mistakes, forgive them, for truth often hides in imperfection. And if you have your own dark tales, thoughts, or questions, drop them in the comments below. We listen, we remember. Now, dim the lights, close the door, and let the resonance begin. Have you ever walked through a village where the silence speaks louder than any voice? Baskarpur is such a place. The villagers live by the sun and seasons. But as dusk falls, doors are latched and windows shuttered, not for fear of animals, but of something older. At the edge of the village stands the silent house, abandoned and shunned, its shadow forever linked to the dark, whispering forest behind it. Into this world of quiet superstition and whispered legends came Hrithik, a young photographer from the city, drawn by the haunting beauty and mysterious aura of Baskarpur. The village, shrouded in early morning mist, seemed to hold its breath as he arrived, his camera slung over his shoulder, eyes wide with curiosity and wonder. Hrithik was no stranger to strange places, but Baskarpur felt different, older, heavier, as if every stone and tree remembered secrets best left forgotten. He became obsessed with the silent house, a crumbling relic at the edge of the forest, its windows dark and empty, its walls tangled in vines. Where others saw a place to avoid, Hrithik saw a story begging to be told, a mystery waiting to be unraveled through his lens. The villagers, wary and tight-lipped, warned him with sidelong glances and hushed voices, but their fear only fueled his determination. He wondered what could make an entire village so afraid of a house. One restless afternoon, unable to resist the pull any longer, Hrithik set out for the house. Camera in hand, heart pounding with anticipation, he walked the deserted road, feeling the weight of every silent stare from the villagers as he passed. Their eyes followed him, filled with a mixture of fear and pity, as if they already knew what fate awaited those who crossed the threshold of the silent house. At the edge of the property, he paused, his hand trembling as he reached for the rusty iron gate. The metal groaned in protest as he pushed it open, the sound echoing through the overgrown yard like a warning. With each step, the air grew colder, heavier, as if the house itself was watching him approach. He crossed the threshold, knowing he was stepping into a story that was not his to tell. No one tried to stop him. The villagers' silence was warning enough. As he entered the decaying doorway, shadows seemed to swallow him whole. The air inside was thick with dust and secrets, every floorboard groaning beneath his feet. Hrithik had no idea that the house was about to claim him, that he was crossing a line from which there might be no return. The silent house was waiting, and its story was far darker than any photograph could ever capture. Inside, the house was a shell, empty, silent, heavy with loss. Hrithik wandered, photographing shadows and decay until he found an ornate mirror, flawless and out of place. As dusk deepened, the mirror seemed to glow, drawing him in. He raised his camera, but a chill ran through him. A fleeting figure appeared in the reflection, a woman with long, dark hair. He spun around. The room was empty. The certainty remained. He was not alone. Hrithik fled, but the mirror haunted him. His photos of the mirror were all blurred, and his dreams filled with the woman's sorrowful gaze. He grew withdrawn, obsessed, feeling a strange pull to return. Sometimes, his reflection lagged behind in windows and water, as if it no longer belonged to him. It was as if the mirror had imprinted itself on his very soul. Kavitha, the guest housekeeper's daughter, had always been sensitive to the strange energies that lingered in the old building. She noticed the subtle but unmistakable change in Hrithik, The way his eyes darted nervously, the restless way he moved, as if something unseen was tugging at his soul. She had seen this before, in the haunted faces of those who stayed too long, who dared to look where they shouldn't. One evening, as the last rays of sunlight faded, she confronted him. Her voice trembled with urgency as she said, "You saw the mirror at dusk. It doesn't just reflect, it takes. It's not an ordinary mirror, Rithik. It's a doorway, a trap for the unwary." She told him the old story, her voice barely above a whisper. Years ago, a lonely girl from the village vanished without a trace. Some say she was last seen gazing into that very mirror, her reflection shimmering strangely in the twilight. Since then, her spirit is said to linger, waiting for another soul to join her in the glass. Kavitha's eyes were wide with fear as she pleaded, "Each time you look, it takes a piece of you. The mirror feeds on your memories, your hopes, your very essence. Leave before it takes all of you. Don't let it finish what it started." Her warning was clear and desperate, echoing with the weight of generations who had learned to fear the mirror. She had seen too many ignore the signs, too many lost to the silent hunger of the glass. "If you go back, you'll be lost forever. Just another whisper in the forest," she said, her voice trembling. The woods outside seemed to press closer, as if listening, as if waiting for another lost soul. Rithik stood at the threshold, torn between disbelief and terror. Kavitha's words echoed in his mind. It was his last chance to escape the mirror's pull, to break free before he too became nothing more than a memory trapped behind the glass. For an entire day, Rithik fought against the strange, magnetic pull of the mirror. He tried to distract himself, pacing the creaking floorboards, avoiding his own reflection in every surface, but the mirror seemed to call to him, whispering promises and secrets only he could hear. Each hour, the urge to return grew stronger, as if invisible threads were drawing him back toward the glass. Sleep eluded him, and the shadows in the corners of the room seemed to deepen, pressing in with silent anticipation. When dawn finally broke, the room was eerily still. Rithik was gone, vanished without a trace. The only evidence of his presence was a chilling note left behind, scrawled in hurried handwriting. "I have to go back. My reflection is no longer mine." His belongings remained untouched, as if he had simply stepped out for a moment. But the air was heavy with loss and something unspoken. Word spread quickly through the village. The elders gathered outside the silent house, their faces grave. They had seen this before, another soul claimed by the house's ancient curse. Whispers filled the morning air, and the villagers mourned quietly, understanding that Rithik had crossed a threshold from which few ever returned. Inside the silent house, the mirror stood undisturbed, flawless and patient. Its surface gleamed in the dim light, as if nothing had happened. Yet, within its depths, secrets swirled, memories, regrets, and the silent echoes of those it had ensnared. The mirror waited, timeless and unyielding, for the next soul to peer too closely. Some say that, on certain nights, two faint figures can be glimpsed in the gloom, a sad-eyed girl, forever searching, and a young man with a camera slung over his shoulder. Their reflections linger, trapped between worlds, unable to escape the mirror's grasp. They are silent witnesses to the house's secrets, bound together by fate and curiosity. So if you ever find yourself near the silent house, and you hear whispers carried on the wind, remember this. Some reflections are not your own. Some mirrors are traps, waiting patiently for the next curious gaze to fall upon them. Beware the allure of the unknown, for not every mystery is meant to be solved. The line between what is real and what is not grows thin in the places we refuse to look. You've just experienced another descent through haunting resonance. If this tale found a place in your thoughts, like, share, subscribe. There are many more echoes waiting to be unearthed, and we'll bring them to you one by one. Until then, stay close to the light. And beware the things that know your name, even if you've never spoken theirs.